Hello, everybody. It is time once again for the weekly connection ritual. Don't let the word ritual throw you. It's really a meditation about connection and energy. This is a weekly exercise that I started doing with House Kheperu and its associates when the world went into lockdown back in 2020. We were scattered. Some of us were isolated. Many of us were accustomed to having our own spiritual group with which we would interact. Some of us had been looking forward to the equinox ritual because it was right around the middle of March when all of it went down. And when that was taken away, and so many of us found ourselves shut off, isolated, it became clear that we needed to reach out to one another. There's a concept in magic and the occult called the astral temple. It's a fancy term for this idea of a shared space beyond ourselves. It is partly an imaginal space, a space that we shape and direct with our minds. But it is also a space that is real on the level of energy, where in that shape of imagined space, whether it's a temple, a home, a grand shopping market where we all meet, whatever shape we imagine for it, nevertheless, we connect to one another. And there are pathways strung between us, our hearts and souls and minds. And not only us, we the living, but also everyone who's ever had a connection to us. We can use that space to reach into the spirit realm, to connect with our departed, to connect with animal companions, with the world itself, with the great powers that move through the cosmos. I patterned the connection ritual off of the winter solstice rite that is practiced by House Kheperu. And for that reason, I open and I close it with the Kheprian charge and the family prayer. These words may speak to you. They may not really resonate with you, and that's totally fine. They're simply what I'm accustomed to using to help create the container for the experience. If you're curious about the words, they are up on my website. We've been using them for ritual for over 20 years. I wrote them quite some time ago. But settle in. If you concentrate better with a little music, maybe some scent or some candles, if you can burn those safely, set your space. If you are comfortable sitting or standing, if you're more comfortable lying down, do that now. If you live someplace that is noisy, where there's a lot of physical distractions, and you have the ability to ask small people, roommates, perhaps your pets, to be a little quieter, if that would help you concentrate, do that now. If you have small animals and you need them to not be in the space, I'd recommend, if it's feasible, shut them out. If your animals are anything like my animals, shutting them out is just going to cause a lot of caterwauling because they want to be a part of the ritual as much as anybody else. So your mileage may vary depending on your animal companions. But all of that, just sort of shake out the week. It's been a rough one. They haven't stopped being rough ones. There's so many ups and downs. Um, but this is time for a little bit of quiet. And don't worry about whether or not you're doing it right. Simply listen to the sound of my voice. Listen to the words and just engage. However it moves you, wherever it takes you. Don't worry about wrong or right. Simply experience. Allow yourself that much and see where you go. We use a candle as a focus. I'm going to move it over here so you can see it. This was provided by Leila Owen. Thank you very much, Sean. If you don't have your own candle, just use mine. The candle's merely a focus, a tool, not strictly necessary. So you can imagine a light just as much. And again, take a few breaths, settle in. Make your space as conducive as you can to your particular focus. Be calm. And again, don't feel like you have to perform. Don't feel like you're doing it right or wrong. Just be. Be present. Join with me. Listen to the sound of my voice. Just waiting for the top of the hour. All right, let us begin. We are the many born. We are the immortal. Eternal we wander the aeons, moving to the rhythm of our own inner tides. We are active elements, moving through passive worlds. Endlessly we die and are reborn, changed yet unchanging through the years. We move from lifetime to lifetime, taking up bodies as garments. Ours is a journey toward understanding, and our charge is knowledge and wisdom. We are the catalysts, and as we awaken to ourselves, we serve to awaken the very world. Take a few moments simply to be present in your body, in your flesh, right where you are in this moment. Whatever might be distracting you, any anxieties, any sensations, any external obligations, whatever is distracting you, acknowledge that it is there, set it aside. Don't focus on it, but don't try to suppress it. Don't fight to make it go away. Simply acknowledge it, set it aside, and redirect your focus to be here, to be present, and feel how you are in this moment. Take stock. Physically, how do you feel this Saturday at the end of your week with whatever you have endured since the last time we were together? And then in the space that you occupy, whatever light is before you, whether it is the light of your own candle, the light of this candle, or simply the light of the chamber where you reside, settle into your body and close your eyes against the light. Not to block it out, but to redirect your vision to find the light within. Let the play of the light in red and gold on the other side of your eyelids be a guide to turn your vision inward as you seek deeper and deeper the core of you. Whether you experience this literally as light, as a divine spark, as a sound you can barely remember, a name you only hear in dreams, a scent you recall from childhood, or simply the sensation of being safe. Seek your center until you find a calm and sheltered, safe space within, the very core of you. In this space, you will have an awareness of where you end and begin, and where the boundary is between you and everything else beyond you. All of the distractions and obligations, everything in the world that sometimes pulls you away from yourself. You have a boundary now. And you are within that boundary, sheltered, centered, and safe. What does safe mean for you right now? What does safe feel like? What do you need to let go of or to block out, to remove from your experience in order to feel that safety? Be present in that centered, sheltered, and calm state. and reacquaint yourself with what it feels like to just be you, to be whole, to be safe. Find the balance of yourself, the foundation of you. Let go of anything that pulls you away from that. Just for this moment. Some of those things you may have to return to, but not right now. Right now, settle into yourself and simply be. As you focus in this calm, centered, and sheltered space, you will become aware that the boundary is something that you can control. These are walls that you can hold as tight and strong as a fortress. But like any good fortress, there are gates. There are ways that you can open it up. You can look out into the world. You can invite people to come and connect to you. You can reach out and connect to others. From your fortress space, turn your attention outward, beyond your walls. Open just enough to become aware of the connections you share. Glimmering filaments of light, like pathways of energy and intention that stretch beyond your core to everyone you have a connection to. Friends, family members, lovers, people you have not thought about in a long time, people who you felt were lost to you simply because they had passed away and you haven't seen them physically in years. Perhaps people you have connections to and you don't know why. Connections you've carried from another life, connections you carry because of other connections. Focus on these glimmering filaments, this webwork strung between you and all of the other sparks out there. There's a vast sea of stars, each an individual shining mind, heart, soul. And every single one of them, just like you, is meshed in this web of connection, able to choose where and how to focus, to reach out. These pathways strung between us carry energy, emotion, memory, intention. We can reach out to one another across them. We can invite connection through them. We can share our emotions, our fears. We can ask for support. We can offer energy to support others if we are in a good place to do so. And all it takes is asking, reaching out and seeking consent to give or to take. Asking, because that is how we open those doors from our calm and centered fortress. We hear someone knock. We feel their intention. We recognize some essential part of their energy, and we know that they are safe for us. They are someone who has a good intention for us, as we have a good intention for them. As you become aware of this vast webwork strung between all of us, allow yourself to focus on one or two of the connections. Perhaps they are strong, brilliant, familiar ones, and you simply want to reach out to someone because they are a good, strong, familiar friend, a heart friend. And perhaps these are connections that have faded over time, cobwebby, faint, and you want to reacquaint yourself with the mind and soul that is on the other side. Spend a few moments expanding your awareness in this space, reaching out beyond the boundary of you and seeing how far you can connect, how deeply you can connect with good intentions and with permission. And if you are in a strong place or you have much to share, offer what you can to support others. If you are in a place where life has been difficult, where you feel worn thin, ask for support. Don't feel any shame or hesitancy to do so. You are enough. You are deserving. There are those out there who will willingly support you. They may not even know you, but if you ask, they will give. Feel how we are stronger together in this space. Feel how bright and many shaded and diverse, and how our strength is the fact that each individual brightness in this space is unique, has a different perspective, a different shape, a different way of engaging with the world. But each of us can share that perspective in this space. We enlarge and enrich one another when we reach out and we share from our core, honestly, openly, and with permission. Take a few moments to enjoy the expansiveness. It's always very tempting to linger, to spread out so far, to float, to detach from your troubles that you almost don't want to come back. But we are in bodies for a reason. We are here in these lives for a reason. This space is always here. These connections are never sundered. We can come back. You can come back. If this is your first time, now you know the path. You can turn your attention here anytime you wish. But for the moment, pull yourself back and back. Spiral in until you stand once more whole and complete in that calm, centered, sheltered space where the boundaries define where you end and begin and where the rest of the world exists. Be in that centered space for a few moments. Reacquaint yourself with its gravitas, with the foundation of that space, your balance, the sense of you, whole and complete, the sense of boundaries that you have control of, that you can open or close as you need. And from that center, come back to your physical body, back to where you sit. Whatever sounds are going on around you, sense, feel the flesh that you reside in. Remind yourself what it's like. If you're having trouble coming away from that space, touch your cheeks, touch your hands. Remember what your flesh feels like, the good parts about it, what you love about being in a body, the things that enrich you for being in flesh. And be present, knowing that you can always go back, knowing that you carry that core of you centered and sheltered at all times, knowing that the vastness of those connections are around us always. But here we are in our flesh, another week, and feeling a little bit better for it. We have passed this way before, and we will pass this way again. We have been many things to one another, teachers, lovers, friends, and bitterest enemies. But through it all, we have remained tied together, soul to soul, in this, our ancient family. May we endure together peacefully. May we enjoy each new lifetime as it comes. May we strengthen each other as we strengthen ourselves, and may we find one another in every place and at every time to share this fellowship and to celebrate this bond. Thank you all. Have a lovely night, and I will see you at the same time next week.